Hi, welcome to another hands-on session on Google Cloud Platform. I'm Yafra Khan from Skill Curve, and in this lab, we will work with Google Cloud Dataflow by creating a batch pipeline from a template provided by Google Cloud. First, let's look at an overview of Google Cloud Dataflow. Dataflow is a fully managed serverless data processing service that creates a pipeline for optimization of performance and resource usage. It has the ability to auto-scale as the need arises. There are two types of jobs in Google Cloud Dataflow: the stream processing job and the batch processing job. In stream processing, data is processed as it arrives, whereas in batch processing, the entire data is read at once. Apache Beam is a unified open source programming model that helps you build both batch and stream pipelines. With Apache Beam, the pipeline logic is decoupled from the underlying execution, so the same pipeline can be used in any execution engine other than the Dataflow. To speed up the deployment of common data processing use cases in the cloud, Dataflow provides us pre-built pipeline templates for both stream processing and batch processing. There are up to 40 pipeline templates available with Dataflow. If you have a finite amount of data, you can process it at once without interruption using batch processing. For example, a text or CSV file can be read entirely from the cloud storage bucket for processing. Once Dataflow reads the file from cloud storage bucket, it transforms it and stores it in a P collection. A P collection is a distributed dataset collection that acts as an input and output for each step of the pipeline. So after the necessary transformations are performed, the data from P collection is written to an output file, which is the final step of the batch processing pipeline. Here is the Dataflow batch processing pipeline that we will be using in this lab. In this use case, each word in a text file is counted and its frequency is returned. So Dataflow reads the text file from Google Cloud Storage. The data processing pipeline then splits all the text in the file based on colon. The resultant file is stored in the P collection. The next step of the pipeline is to extract the words from the text file and count them. The resulting file is again saved in a P collection, from which the result is then formatted as required. Finally, the output transform is performed and the resultant data is stored in an output file. Now we will start working with the lab that performs batch processing using a Dataflow template. These are the steps to perform. Firstly, we will log into our Google Cloud account. We will then create a Dataflow job for word count from the Google provided templates. After running the job, we will view the output file on Google Cloud Storage bucket. As an additional step, we will publish the output data to PubSub using another Dataflow job. We will then view the output data as PubSub messages through Cloud Shell. Now let's get started. Open your browser in the incognito mode. Go to cloud.google.com. If you do not have a Google Cloud account, you need to click on Get Started for free. Since I have an account, I'll click on Sign In. Type in your credentials. Okay, now go to the console. First, you need to make sure that you have a cloud storage bucket. If you do not have it, you need to create one. So as a shortcut, you can directly create a storage bucket from this option. Another thing that we need to ensure is that we have the Dataflow API enabled. For that, search for APIs and services in the search bar. Scroll down and see the Dataflow API. So here if we click it, so we can see here that the status is enabled. Now go to Dataflow from the search bar. Here we can see that there are already 2 stream jobs which are in the running status. To create a new batch processing job from Google provided template, click on Create from Template. First, specify the name of the job. Select the region. I have chosen US Central 1. After that, we have a list of templates from where we can choose. So from this drop down, we'll choose the very first template, which is word count. Now on the right side, a graph for this template is shown. First, it reads lines of the text file, then it counts the words, maps the elements, and finally writes those counts to an output file. Now here we have the required parameters. Firstly, we need to specify the input text file from the cloud storage bucket. In this lab, we will be using a text file of the Shakespeare novel King Lear. The file is publicly available with Google Cloud Storage Dataflow samples. This is the link to the public text file. Next, we need to specify the path to the cloud storage bucket and folder where our output file will be stored. So first we'll select our bucket. And then we'll specify the folder in which the file will be stored. After this, we'll specify the cloud storage location for writing our temporary files. So we'll choose the bucket and then specify the temp folder. Okay, now click on Run Job. The steps of our job are shown in this graph, and we can see whether the step has been succeeded or not. On the right side, we can see all the details of the job, including the status, the location, and all the temporary files which are created in the process. If you want to see the details of each step, we can click on a particular step. For example, for the first step, I can see that the step is currently being executed and that no elements have been added as yet, and we also don't have an estimated size. Since this is a batch processing job and our file size is big, this will take some time to execute. Now we can see that our read lines stage has been succeeded and the elements added are 5525. So now all of our stages have been successfully executed and we can see a green check mark on them. On the bottom, we have the logs panel. When we click show, we can see all the information about the job stages as well as the errors and warnings if there are any. So now our logs say finished operation and worker pool stopped. The worker pool is stopped because it is a batch processing job, which means that once the job has been executed, it does not need to run anymore. Now we will view the output file which has been generated from our Dataflow pipeline word count template. So for that, I'll open another tab. And I'll go to cloud storage. In the browser tab, we'll click on our bucket. So here we can see that a temp folder has been added and the word count file has been generated. This text file contains the word counts for Shakespeare's King Lear novel. If you click on this file and then we click on the authenticated URL, we can see the frequency of each word in the novel. Now we'll perform another step in this lab, that is to view the contents of the output text file in our cloud storage bucket as pub/sub messages. For that, we will create another Dataflow job that reads files in a storage bucket and publishes the data to pub/sub. So we'll first need to create a pub/sub topic for that. Search for pub/sub from the search bar. Now click on Create Topic. Choose a topic ID. And we'll have a default subscription. Click on Create Topic. Now we can see that a subscription called word count-sub has automatically been created. For exporting the output word count file from cloud storage to pub/sub, we'll go to cloud storage. Now click on your bucket. Here we can see our output text file. Click on the 3 vertical dots against this file. And now click on Export to pub/sub. This will redirect us to the Dataflow page and the Create Job from template. Some of the fields here have been auto-filled. We'll change the name of the job. So our Dataflow template has already been selected, which is text files on cloud storage to pub/sub. Our input file from cloud storage is also selected. Now we need to select our pub/sub topic from the drop down. Here's the word count topic. Then we will specify a temporary location in the cloud storage bucket. So we'll select our bucket followed by TMP. Now click on Run Job. Now we can see the graph of our job. It only has 2 steps, which is read text data and write to pub/sub. To verify if the data has been written to pub/sub or not, we can click on the write to pub/sub stage. And here we can see that the elements have been added and their estimated size. Now we will manually pull the messages which have been generated on pub/sub by using Cloud Shell. So we'll activate the Cloud Shell. Now we'll write a gcloud command to pull messages from our subscription. In this command, we are using the name of the subscription that we created. Then we are using the auto act flag that automatically acknowledges each message as it is pulled. The limit flag would limit the number of messages to 10. Run this command. Click on authorize. So at first, this command will return listed 0 items. This is because it will take some time for Cloud Shell to pull all the data from pub/sub. We'll wait a while and then we'll run the command again. Okay, now we can see the messages in the data field and the message ID along with it. In this lab, we looked at the Cloud Dataflow service in GCP and worked with Bash data processing pipeline for counting words in a text file. We went through the steps of creating a Bash processing job and viewing the output file on cloud storage. Finally, we created another job for transferring the output file contents to pub/sub and then pull the pub/sub messages through the Cloud Shell. I hope this was helpful in giving you the basic understanding of how jobs are created in Cloud Dataflow and the use cases where it can be applied. Thank you and good luck.